Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we welcome you once again to the airwaves of Salam Media on this Wednesday evenings, and it is a time of the week where we bring you in conversation with myself, Inayat Wadi, as we welcome our listeners, our viewers on the various platforms of Salam Media. Now, today, once again, we've witnessed a bloody day in the Gaza Strip. And these are scenes that we actually hoped would end. But we've seen the Zionist terror being expanded and returning, reopening wounds. And we've seen once again airstrikes, artillery strikes taking place. And they have not ceased since this morning. An entire family was wiped out. Many children were killed. A Palestinian paramedic was killed while on duty. And all of this taking place while the world watches, and we see a lot more draconian measures. And with all the hype, with all the talk of the opening of the Rafah crossing, we see European unions now manning the crossing at the bidding of the Israeli government. So when one looks at the statistics from the first day of the partial opening of the Rafah crossing, only 12 Palestinian civilians were allowed to enter through the Rafah crossing, most of them women and children. 38 people were actually turned back. 5 patients were only accompanied by people who had escorted them. So with all of this is playing, we've got a silent world once again. And this is the reason why the struggle needs to continue. It needs to continue on an international level. And we've covered so much of the Global Sumud Flotilla. And once again, that has become the area of focus where we've seen the international leaders of the Global Sumud Flotilla meeting in Johannesburg. And this is what we are talking about this evening. My guest tonight, Channa Jawaher, who is a Tunisian activist, co-organizer of the Sumud Land Convoy and Global Sumud Flotilla. We've got Susan Abdallah, Palestinian Norwegian teacher, translator, and politician as well. And also we've got Maimon Herawati, humanitarian activist, media researcher, and journalism lecturer based out in Indonesia. To all three of you, to Channa, to Susan, and to Maimon, Assalamu alaikum, welcome, and an absolute pleasure having you on the show this evening. Yes,
Thank you for
Channa, I'd like to begin with you. And, I painted the picture once again in terms of what is taking place in Gaza today as we speak, as we have met. So nothing has actually changed. And once again, the call is for the global community to come together, solidarity movements, the Global Sumud Flotilla, which you are in Johannesburg right now. And I must say, an absolute pleasure having all of you in South Africa. Just what are your thoughts at this point in time as we see, what is taking place? And now we need to revive the struggle through the Global Sumud Flotilla.
I can tell you that it's very important to remember that this ceasefire was not real in the beginning, and it was it was very much like on paper, because the bombing never stopped. The international organizations never entered Gaza to continue working. It's the opposite. Israel has issued orders to keep international organizations from working in Gaza and strangling more and more the people in Gaza. And also Save the Children have announced that one child in Gaza has been killed since this ceasefire, so-called ceasefire. So we know that this ceasefire, it was just on paper, and it was not in the reality. And we didn't stop us from working and planning and thinking that it's very important that we, the people of the world, continue, the global solidarity, continue working and showing the people in Gaza that we are here, we are there for them. We are going to try our best to continue attempting to break the siege and reach Gaza. And what happened today is only a motivation for us to continue all the efforts that we're doing. And it makes even more sense that we are here in South Africa trying to coordinate and cooperate and put together our solidarity action towards Gaza.
Thanks for that, Susan. Much appreciated. And while we have Maimon with you, sitting right alongside you as well, Maimon, perhaps if you could just give us an from your side your involvement with the flotilla in terms of what inspired you, your involvement, and what are you expecting as far as the flotilla this time around, and particularly looking at the spring mission that is being launched here in South Africa.
Well, my motivation to join the Freedom of Flotilla is, um, you know, once we allowed occupation to exist, then it's mean that we accept the injustice, and especially in our country constitution, it's said very clearly that Indonesian are against any occupation. And so for me coming here, not just because personal mission, but also part of, our country mission as well. We are here to be together with our friend from Palestine, that Indonesian, since the beginning of our independence, we know that there are some other nation still occupied, and Palestine is the last nation still occupied since, I don't know whether you remember 1955 Asia Africa Conference in Bandung. I come from Bandung, and South Africa play a big role there. So for me, coming here is like coming to the big brother, because we see you as a leader of Global South, and as well as Indonesia at that time also play its part. So for me, coming here like continuing the mission.
No, absolutely.
Yes.
No, in fact, that is certainly that is motivation enough. And let's just get Channa on as well. Channa, just looking at it from your side, I'm hoping she's still on screen. There we go. Channa is with us on screen. Channa, from your side as a Tunisian activist, and obviously you have been involved as an activist for a very, very long time. And someone who's even not only looking at the Global Sumud Flotilla, someone who is even organized or being a co-organizer of the land convoy as well. And we know that, obviously Tunisia has got a huge history in terms of Palestine and the people on the ground identifying with the Palestinian cause. How do you see this playing out, Channa?
So I want to mention that during the 2 years, we always mention it, that it never started in the 7th of October. It's an occupation that began way before. It's an ongoing apartheid genocide. So now when the Israeli occupation and the American administration are trying to say that we have done a ceasefire, now we don't know, we don't need any more support for Palestine, and Global Sumud Flotilla and any other initiative or action has to prove that no, we are standing with the Palestinian people for their right to emancipation. This is our role as a human rights activists, as supporters, as Southerners, or as countries who have witnessed occupation. So now when they are trying, I'm talking about the enemy, when they are trying to hide the truth by this propaganda of keeping repeating it's a ceasefire. No, it's not a ceasefire. Palestinians are not numbers. We are talking of 13 persons dying every day, and it is not, it never ended unless this system of occupation and apartheid and ongoing genocide, people are dying every day. They are way before dying, Palestinians, before the 7th October, and they are still dying. So I think this is our duty. We keep on trying to support the Palestinians in their struggle, in their fight to emancipate, and to face this brutality of killing by all means. They are deprived from all means. They are dying out of cold, of rain, of hunger, of killing, of bombing. So I think like all of us, when we, like all other people, when we have tried to emancipate from colonialism, we stood up together against the colonialist system. So now it's our turn to support Palestinians in their fight, and to look for and to be really humans, because as I've said, Palestinians are not numbers, not because they were killed by thousands and now by tens, that it's not important. It is still important, and that's why we are keeping on breaking the siege, on supporting Palestinians, and doing all what we can do it's our duty.
Well, certainly it is. Susan, just to bring you back into the discussion now, just looking at your biography and looking at, someone as a teacher, as a translator, and also as a politician, but you wear so many hats, and obviously you are an activist as well. Just looking at it from your perspective, and also looking at it from Norway, I'm sure that the Global Sumud Flotilla mission obviously is supported a lot in your part of the world. And let's just try and talk about the level of support that you are getting to be part and parcel of this global movement.
I have to start by saying two things, important things. As a teacher, I always taught about Nelson Mandela, about Mahatma Gandhi and Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela is famous quote about Palestine: "We are not free until Palestine is free." And I want to say another quote from a Palestinian young lady that she was, since her childhood, standing up to the soldiers in the West Bank, Ahid Tamimi. She said, "There is no justice under the occupation. An occupation is a brutal system that survives by strangling the lives of the Palestinians in Palestine." And as Jawaher said, this did not start in October 7th. October 7th is the result of over 78 years of occupation. So it's very important to think that our role in all this is important, and the support of the people is enormous. People, when we are sailing, people support us by different kinds of ways. Not necessarily the European governments. The European governments are very careful. They're not as active as they are when they are facing other situations like Russia. They were very quick to enforce sanctions and boycott on Russia, and now they're trying to do the same thing with Iran. But what happened to Israel? The sanctions and the boycott against Israel for after all this atrocities and breaking the laws, breaking all the international laws, and violating the human rights. There is no sanctions, there is no boycott, and that is not acceptable. But on the people's level, we have a very huge support, both in Norway and the rest of Europe. Like, the people are on the right side because this is an ethical side. You cannot not support the Palestinian cause. You cannot stand by and watch and not do anything. It's on our conscience, and it's. Lately, we have seen the football legend Guardiola. He said, "I'm not neutral. I am Palestinian." And it is at these times, we have to be Palestinians, all of us.
Well, certainly, and I think you make a very, very strong point. You make a very, very powerful statement, Susan, when you're saying we are all Palestinians. And this is something that we've learned over the last 2 years. And I think for many of us that are also sitting on this panel right now, whether it's Channa, yourself, or even Maimon as well, we all know that we've all, had a history of apartheid, a history of colonialism that we have obviously been suffering in terms of discrimination. But I'm sure, Maimon, when you look at what is taking place to the people of Palestine and Gaza, this is about the worst that any nation in the world can actually suffer as a result of the genocide, the ethnic cleansing, the brutality, the barbaric manner in which this brutal Zionist machinery has actually been acting in Gaza and also all over Palestine, whether we're looking at the West Bank, whether we're looking at Jerusalem, we're looking at Al-Quds, and this has been the suffering of the Palestinian people.
Yes.
I lost many sleep, I have to tell you. I mean, I wake up right at the beginning of nighttime for Gaza, because that's usually when the bombing is starting. And since I'm also working in independent media, and then it'll be my job to tell the people the news, it's really eating me in a way that at the beginning it's really difficult to sleep. Sometimes I could not eat. It was like depression, I would say, because you see, it's really in front of you. You see it minute by minute, and sometimes I had to get away because it's just too much. I mean, even I had a severe headache because kept crying, and the feeling, the hopelessness feeling is not just me feeling it, but majority of Indonesian people also feel the same, because you see the Palestinian occupation is with us, and the social media really bring it home. With your mobile you can directly see the live stream bombing. So for us, it is really the worst. And it's not just me. I mean, many of my friends said, I could not sleep last night when I see Anas Al Sarif being killed. I cry. I didn't know him personally, but then he was like part of my life, and losing him like losing a family. And that's how we Indonesian feel. When we also feel like the burden of the biggest Muslim majority the biggest Muslim nation in the world, like is in our soldier. Like, we are the one who should take care of our big sister, our brother and sister in Palestine. And so when we could not really help, it's like painful, because like you are hopeless. They say you useless. And so that's the reason why I joined Global Sumud Flotilla, because you see, I've been doing lots of Palestinian work even when I was a student, but then joining the Global Sumud Flotilla is like bringing the works is to a higher level. And for me it's helping, since like the feeling is not really a depression. It's not really like helpless, but we are doing something bigger together with our brother and sister, friend and comrade all over the world. That's how we feel.
Well, certainly, Maimon, and I can understand the emotion that you are going through right now. And I think we all feel exactly the same. And believe me, even for someone like myself, as an on air presenter, sometimes it's not easy. And that emotion actually overtakes you, because we haven't witnessed anything like this in our entire lives. And this is about the worst. And I think even for me, just to add to what you are saying, where you can't bear to see people, or and I'm sure Susan knows many a person who has been killed in this genocide. And for me, there were a number of people that I spoke to over the years. And when you hear that they've been killed, it actually hits home. It becomes very, very personal for all of us. So, we fully appreciate, we understand the emotion. But just coming back to you, Channa, as well, is, obviously you've had quite a lot of experience now as being an organizer or a coordinator. And this is something that I admire about the Global Sumud Flotilla movement is, people don't give up. We know what had happened was the last mission that had taken place, but we find that people will go over and over and over repeatedly. And this is what this latest spring flotilla is going to be all about, where you're going to be obviously looking at people, thousands of people from right across the entire world, once again, energized, recharged, motivated to make sure that this happens.
Muted me. So, as the Susan said it before, the most of governments are either complicit or silent towards what's happening to all Palestinians, not only in Gaza. So this is what we aim, and it's our major aim, that we are not waiting for governments or for institutions to do things. We are doing it by ourselves, as people, as free people, as the humans that care about lives, that the humans that they care about, that they stand against oppression, and all kind of atrocity. So this the spring mission is again about breaking the siege, because Palestinians still not they don't have they are not are responsible or have authority on their borders. They Ghazawi people or Palestinians in Gaza are still suffering from how to say it, from they are still dying, as I mentioned it before. So this mission is about doing our duty as people, as free people, as the humans, towards this just cause. And we will keep on trying. It's not only about this mission. As long as there is occupation and oppression and siege, we are going to keep on trying. And we are this. I'm gonna say something about South Africa, since we are in South African media. I've witnessed the amazing position of South Africa, not only as people, but as a government or authorities too. So I'm calling to continue fighting for Palestinians, to continue supporting Palestinians, to do our duty, to talk about them. They kept saying to us, I remember, like Maimona said, that the Palestinians, they asked, and Ghazawi people, they asked, do not forget about us. You remember the very beginning, do not forget about us. And personally, I've promised I will never forget. I cannot forget. I've seen all this killing and bombing. I've seen it in videos. I spent nights, as Maimuna said, watching the killing before our hands. This unveiled the truth about this people, the Zionist occupation. And I promised myself that I will never forget. This is the least thing we can do. So we should not forget, and we should keep on trying. This is about the spring mission and all missions, and all, not only the mission and the breaking the siege as Global Sumud Flotilla, but for all the boycott movements, for all the demonstrations in the streets, talking in media, talking in every place we can talk. We should never forget what happened, because we promised it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
I know. Yeah, I understand. I do appreciate. And as I mentioned, one can see the emotion, one can see the passion in all of you in terms of what you are doing as well, Susan. And I think this, obviously, when one compares it to what the Palestinians have been going through. And I recall a few months ago, I spoke about the trauma and the psychological trauma of the Palestinians. And this trauma has been passed from one generation to another generation. Yet we see the Palestinians still strong. They stand up, they are proud, they are steadfast, and they still continue with the struggle. And for all of us that are supporting the Palestinian cause, we shouldn't be giving up. And we've seen how this has changed the world. We've seen it in the major cities, thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that have come out on the street to support the Palestinian cause. We see the Sumud Flotilla, we see the numbers increasing, and I'm sure this time around with the launch of the Spring Flotilla as well, the numbers are going to increase a lot more. So people are determined to make it happen, Susan.
Yeah, I think that we don't have the luxury of giving up. People in Gaza have stood in the middle of the genocide all this time, and we owe it to the people of Gaza not to give up. And when you're talking about the psychological effect, Gaza has been under genocide, And it's not just the bombs that have been raining on Gaza. Israel has made sure that the people in Gaza feel isolated, feel left behind, feel alone. They have been throwing flyers, paper flyers on Gaza, the areas that were surrounded in different places where they're surrounding them, and not letting in any aid or any food or anything. Like, it was very devastating for people to read flyers from the Israeli occupation saying, "We are killing you, and the word is watching, nobody cares." And our message to Gaza: we care. We are the word. We are the people of the word, and we are not going to give up. We are going to continue doing our best to try to break the siege. And we should, in all this, remember also that in the West Bank, there are also violations. There are also ethnic cleansing. A lot of things that are happening in the West Bank are being escalated by the extremists that are in power, and they are doing everything to legislate their and make it legal to ethnically cleanse more and more parts of the West Bank, and also to legalize death penalty for the Palestinian prisoners. We are very running out of time for these Palestinian prisoners, which is almost 10,000 Palestinians are in the Israeli prisons. And it's very important to think in all over the world, when you have a prisoner, when you have someone that is in prison, then these people have most probably gone through a process, of a legal process, and have been sentenced for something that they did breaking the law. In Palestine, Palestinians don't get a due process, don't get a legal process, and they definitely did not break any laws. The only guilt that they have is being Palestinian in Palestine. They're being arrested, being tortured, being treated in a way that we cannot begin to imagine how it's like, and especially that they are at all ages. Like, we know that there are children all the way to 8 years old are in Israeli prison, and there are the women, there are the mothers, there are the journalists, there are the doctors, all of them in prison by the occupation just for being Palestinian. And our sail to Gaza, the last sail to Gaza, we had 450 participants from all around the world, and they were kidnapped, arrested, and taken, and they were treated in a way. They came back and they told the world how they were treated, and that is with their European and different passports. They were treated in a way that it was mind-blowing how they were treated, and it only can make us stop and think, if this is the way the European nationals and the rest of the world nationals are being treated, how are the Palestinians being treated? So
Absolutely.
it's really important to remember all this. Remember, don't forget, we are not forgetting Gaza. We are not forgetting Palestinians in the West Bank. We're not forgetting the Palestinians in the detention, in the Israeli detention. It's very important to remember them. The time is running out for them. We have to stand up. We have to do our best, and we have to have other people with us. We have to try to get more and more people to join us, and it's very important now. If people can join the flotilla, can join the boats and the Sumud convoy, please do. And if you can't, you can contribute in different ways. You can contribute by participating on land, by participating in sharing the news, sharing what we're doing, so more and more people will know about it. So we need all the efforts that we can get. We are doing our best, and we need more people to join us so we can have a bigger and more amplified impact.
Well, we certainly hope that it is going to be impactful, because I've just looked at the press release, and the press release talking about the first press conference about the Spring Flotilla is going to be held in Johannesburg, and that is taking place tomorrow. So, and obviously, when one looks at it, we're talking of about 3,000 participants from over 100 countries and 100 vessels. Now, that is huge, Susan. That is massive. And I'm sure, the fact that this is taking place tomorrow at the Nelson Mandela Foundation is very, very relevant, Susan, because you quoted what Nelson Mandela had to say about we cannot be free in South Africa until Palestine is free as well. So it's so relevant that this is taking place at the Nelson Mandela Foundation, and also part of the Nelson Mandela Foundation is now Dr. Naledi Pandor, and who was a former Minister of International Relations. She is the one that led the case for Israel, the case for genocide, the ICC and the ICJ. So I'm sure, Susan, that is extremely important and very relevant as well.
That is very important, and we are sending a message that Nelson Mandela never gave up. We will never give up. So I am really thinking this is the best place to be. This is the best place here in Johannesburg, in Nelson Mandela Center, to announce to the world that we are not giving up. We are not forgetting Palestine. We are going to stand united, and we will march, we will sail, and if we have to, we will fly to Gaza and to the West Bank also.
Well, certainly as well. And I just want Maimuna's feelings on the fact that this is taking place on South African soil. How do you feel about it, Maimuna?
We are in the right place because you see, you have been the leader so far in Global South.
Yeah.
I mean, to do it in the leader country, that's the best option. So I'm happy that our committee, Sumud Committee, decided to do this in South Africa. And for me myself, to be able to be here, understanding the struggle and see, we are not yet in a way in ideal situation, but then looking at how was the struggle to finish off the apartheid in South Africa, I know that we can replicate the good strategy that the world did before for the South Africa apartheid, and that's inshallah we will do the same and bigger with Palestine independent, inshallah, by boycotting, defacing, sanctioning, inshallah. And I don't know how to explain it in English, but then the spirit of
yes.
South Africa, yes, the spirit of South Africa, inshallah, will make the Sumud Flotilla stronger, inshallah.
Well, inshallah, and I'm sure, from the people, Channa as well, I'm sure you've met quite a few people from South Africa already until now, and just to get your thoughts on, how they feel and how you feel about the people of South Africa, and particularly, now that, I know you are on the African continent, but obviously, being here in South Africa, I'm sure you've been inspired a lot as well by the people you've met and by what you've witnessed.
I'm sorry, I've met a lot of South African amazing people in Tunisia, and I was in the reception of detainees in Jordan. So I met many of the South African delegation and here in Tunisia. But right now I'm not in South Africa. I wished I was able to travel, because it's one of the most country that I wanna visit, and the most the people, amazing people, and how they stood up with Palestine, and how they did it themselves against, and how they how they have won against apartheid. But no, I'm not in South Africa. Inshallah, next time I will be, and maybe Susan and Maimuna can talk more about how they met people there. But I just want to say something. During the war, when they tried to intimidate us and to intimidate Palestinians, Zionists kept saying, we are strong, we have the strongest army, we have the strongest technology, we have the Americans, all the European governments with us. What are you doing exactly, standing against us? And we kept repeating. There are a lot of examples, but few examples are really known, like South Africa. We kept saying South Africans did it before and they won. Algerians did it before and they won. Vietnamese did it before and they won. And inshallah, Palestinians, we are stooding in the right side of history, because because we can see the atrocity. It's not because you have the strongest army, no, because Palestinians have the will, and we stood with the right. And South Africans kept, as Maimuna said, they are leading the South in supporting Palestine. I wish I was there, but I'm not there, unfortunately. But I thank you very much for what you have done. Thank you. We have been saying thank you a lot of times to South Africa here in the embassy, to people, but we cannot thank you enough for what you have done for Palestine, and not only for Palestine, for all of us. Because seeing all these governments stooding up, on all these lawyers stooding with the Zionists, and we don't have anyone or any government or any people, strong people with the strong presence in the right place to stood for us as Southerners, as oppressed. And here, South Africa, what she did, we cannot thank enough South Africans. Thank you.
Thank
May
you.
I say
I
also
must
adding
apologize,
something?
Channa. I really thought that you were in South
No, it's
Africa.
okay.
That's fine, but
No, it's
hopefully
okay.
at some point in time we will be able
Can
to
I add
welcome you
one
in
more
South
thing?
Africa. Go
May I
ahead,
add one
Maimuna.
more thing? Yes.
Go
Yes.
ahead, please.
The decision of South Africa government to bring the case into ICJ, putting the government and as well as the nation at the forefront of shooting target by the Zionists. And for me, you are very brave. The government is very brave. The nation is very brave. We will learn from you.
Yeah.
And thank you.
I want to say that as a Palestinian, I have no words to express my appreciation for all the efforts that the South African government have done to bring the case to the International Court of Justice. And in Norway, we have, like, it was good for us to tell them now the leading ethical country in the world is South Africa. So the Europeans,
Shame.
they try to say that they are the civilization, that they are the leaders of the world. In this situation where you need ethics, where you need courage, South Africa was the leader of the world. So I as a Palestinian, really cannot find enough words to say how much we Palestinians appreciate the role that South Africa played in this, bringing this case to the International Court of Justice. And we all have seen the intimidation, the threatening, and the use of the power to try to intimidate South Africa. We see it, and we really know how difficult it is to stand for the justice and stand in front of a power of colonization that is backed by great powers in the world. But it is again a choice of ethics and justice.
Well, Susan, I must say in the same breath that you are saying, and when I look at the Palestinians, I say we should be thankful to the people of Palestine and all peace-loving people right across the entire world, those that seek justice, those that stand for the truth, those that stand against oppression. We need to thank the people of Palestine, because this is a lesson that we have learned from the people of Palestine, lessons, very valuable lessons in life on what it is to be on the receiving end of injustices, of oppression, and all of that. And this is the reason why, Susan, I make the statement over and over again that out of all the nations in the world, the nation that is there to lead the world and the chosen nation to lead the world are the people of Palestine, Susan.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and just one more thing, Susan. Now that we are going to see this launch tomorrow, and look ahead at the launch of this spring flotilla, what are some of your thoughts? What are some of the expectations?
My thoughts, it's very important that this is coming now, especially to the people in Gaza. who have had a chance to like the last sail to Gaza. We didn't physically reach Gaza, but the hopes to reach Gaza reached Gaza. And the people in Gaza have seen that we tried until the last second to reach Gaza. And that in itself created a lot of positive thoughts about actually being able to live the day. That day will not be long until the siege is broken. So I think the flotilla, the last time, it was very close to breaking the siege in Gaza. And I really, really think this time we are combining efforts even more and trying to actually reach Gaza in a way that is very important both to us and to the people there.
Well, certainly. Maimona, just, take us through some of your challenges, the sacrifices that you have to make to be part and parcel of the flotilla, because, we obviously admire people. We take our hats off to people. It does take a lot. It does take a lot of time, effort, sacrifice, even financial sacrifices that people have to make. But at the end of the day, the cause is bigger than even the personal sacrifices. So just take us through some of these sacrifices that, people like yourself have to make to be part and parcel of this great, I would say, sacrifice, and also this great endeavor to be part of this flotilla and for a greater purpose.
I feel ashamed to say about my sacrificing, because it's really nothing compared to the sacrificing that compared to the struggle that Palestinian is suffering. So, but I am a mother of 5 children. My youngest is 4 years old, and so last year when our family decided to let me go, the things that really get me most is leaving the youngest, because she's still 4 years old at the time, less than 4 years old. And so for me, I would say not, there is possibility not to be able to bring her into, accompanying her into an adulthood. So like leaving her to my husband's hands, it's really the one that almost break me, because you see, I might not see her again. Well, when we intended to join the ships, when I cut the last phone call, it felt like the last phone call, and I also did my wasiat. I don't know whether that's
Wasiat, my testimony. Testimony.
Yes, last message for the family, like if I have to go, and then what should be done if I was not here anymore. For me, it's not sacrificing, because I'm still here, and leaving the family mostly, and of course because I'm also a lecturer, and juggling between teaching and also researching and also doing the activism for Palestine. Sometimes living, the time is very limited. So I try to, in a way, my healing is doing something with the Palestinian, together with Palestinian, for Palestinian independence. It's a healing. So it's not like a burden. It's more like making me happy. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, and
Well,
if I
I'm
may
sure. Channa, just from your side, how does it, on a personal level, how does this actually, inspire you? And also at the same time, looking at it from your perspective, your family, this type of support, or how supportive has your family and your loved ones been, with you being part and parcel of the flotilla?
Yes, in fact, I'm gonna say something personal, very personal. But my daughter is called Sumud. Yes, I have a daughter called Samud. She has 3 years old. I can't remember from the early beginning of my life. I was with the Palestinian, and I really can't remember because my family too has a strong support for Palestinians. You know, in Tunisia, maybe it's in our books in education we have a great history of we have the history of having Palestinians in Tunisia and standing with Tunisians with the Palestinians. So it's kind of not something very special to be and to stand with Palestinian in Tunisia. And we many families have named their children on Palestinian cities. We can all the time find Yafa, especially Yafa, Quds. It's like a Tunisian name, Quds and Yafa. We can find Yafa and Quds in every house. So it's not a sacrifice. I can't say it's a sacrifice. Sometimes when I reach a limit when I'm exhausted or hungry or emotional about my children, I think about Ghazawi. I think about the peoples in Gaza. They are without food. They are losing members of family. I think especially about mothers, how they have lost all their children. I think about children without mothers. So each time I came near a limit of fatigue or being exhausted. I remember what's happening with Palestinians, and I feel shamed. I cannot even express that I am tired or anything. I think it's not only me. It's a common feeling among thousands of peoples around the world, and I am seeing old ladies in demonstration, very very old ladies in demonstration in USA, for example, standing with Palestine. So after all, what is this sacrifice I am making for a noble cause? And it's not only about Palestine. It's facing these criminals who are doing bad things to all humanity, because these governments and that they are standing with Israel or with the Zionists. They are the main. They are causing the all the kind of problems, and economically speaking, military to many other countries, and almost to all the humanity. So after all, supporting Palestine is supporting ourselves, because it's what's happening in Palestine is the emphasis and the real, how to say it, it's the real proof about how criminal they are. And standing with Palestinians, it's standing for ourselves. I keep saying that standing for Palestine is standing for Tunis too. To when I talk to people, when I talk to Tunisians. So after all, it's not a sacrifice. It's a choice, and it's not a choice. Not only a choice. It's a duty towards ourselves, towards humanity, and towards Palestinians.
Absolutely. In fact, you've said it just so well, Channa, as well. And this, Susan, as we head towards the end of the broadcast, just finally, and I think from what I'm hearing, and I know I've got an all-woman panel here tonight with me on the show, but, one cannot talk enough about the bravery of the Palestinian woman. And I found that over the years that there is none more courageous and braver than the Palestinian woman. Just yesterday, we had a meeting and we were talking about the women of Jerusalem, of Al-Quds, the Murabitat, the first line of defense in protecting Al-Aqsa as well. And this is what the Palestinian woman is all about. And as we hear from both Channa and from Maimona as well, our sacrifices are nothing. We've done absolutely nothing. And, as you look ahead tomorrow at the launch, and I know there have been a number of activities that have already taken place. We've seen an activist roundtable. There was a public meeting that took place yesterday as well. There's a Wipeout Imperialism protest that's taking place at Leila Khalid Drive on the 6th of February. There's a book launch, also called Flotilla as well. And I'm sure, Susan, you're inspired by this week, by this events as well. But I think more importantly, and just finally for you to make this call to people not to stop, we need to be relentless as this genocide has been throughout the 2 years before the ceasefire was announced, after the so-called ceasefire was announced, because this is exactly what the Zionists is saying: you cease and we'll fire. And this is exactly what is happening. So just some final thoughts from you, please, Susan.
Uh, I want to say, with the words from a Palestinian poet from Gaza, he writes and he says, "Every child in Gaza is my child. Every mother in Gaza is my mother. Every father in Gaza is my father. Every brother and sister are my brother and sisters." It's very important to remember we are one, all together, united as one family, and we stand together for each other. And I recall one father that was going to be on the mission, and he was explaining why he was going to sail to Gaza, leave behind a 2-year-old child, and go to Gaza. And he said, it's because of the children in Gaza. It's because of the fathers in Gaza. I am a father and I understand what it's like to lose a child. I don't want to lose my child. So it's very important to remember this. It's very important to remember that in Gaza, there is a new created medical term, child with no surviving family members. That's what this occupation has created. Children in Gaza with no surviving family members. This is on us, and this is something we cannot accept. So it's very important to remember Gaza, remember Palestine, and remember we are doing the right thing. We're standing up for justice, just like the South Africans have stood up for us. We appreciate that, and we are here. We are in the right place to announce to the world that we will continue to do our best to break the siege and stop the occupation. And thank you so much for having us and letting us speak today.
No, we certainly, in fact, I do really, appreciate all three of you taking time out this evening to be with us right here on Salam Media. It's been very, very inspiring, I must say, for myself personally, and I'm sure our listeners and our viewers as well. But I think more importantly, to inspire them to be even more active, to be part and parcel of the struggle until we see the liberation, until we see the freedom of Palestine and the Palestinian people in our lifetime, inshallah. So to all of you, to you, Channa, Jawaher, to you, Susan, Abdallah, and also to Maimona as well, we thank you. We say shukran, jazakallah khairan to all of you, and we do appreciate your time with us. All the best to all of you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to the end of this evening's edition, and I must say, very, very inspirational as well. And once again, indicating and giving us, giving us the opportunity to get a lot more involved, as well as we see the three sisters who have joined us, their involvement, and they don't even look at it as a sacrifice, because they see the sacrifice of the people of Palestine a lot more greater, because they've basically given everything in their lives. They've given their lives, they've given their blood, they've given their sweat, their tears, their grandparents, their babies. They've just given everything. What else is there for the people of Palestine to give? And these are the sacrifices that are required of us. The little that we can do, let us continue with what we can do. Let us support initiatives like the Global Sumud Flotilla. Let us continue with the BDS movement. Let us do whatever we can within our own capacities. The relief organizations, there's just so much that is taking place by way of providing some sort of relief to the people of Palestine. And this is what we are going to be calling on in 2 weeks' time. It is going to be the month of Ramadan, the month of giving. We shudder to think that once again, the kind of Ramadan that the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza will have to undergo, and particularly looking at even post the so-called ceasefire, what has actually taken place today. The aerial bombing is still taking place. The airstrikes are continuing. People are still dying. And as we look ahead at this month of Ramadan, let us consider, let us pay a thought, and more importantly, what we can do for our brothers, for our sisters out in Palestine. And with that, I'm signing off from from myself and the team once again, it was an absolute pleasure being in your company. Fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.